Today I'm welcoming Ann Gadd. We're going to talk about Enneagrams. But firstly, Ann is a good friend, a regular expert on the panel of Natural Medicine magazine, author of 22 books, an artist, you know, those little sheep drawings. Welcome, Ann.
Hi, hello.
So an Enneagram, I know it as this symbolic, like a sacred geometric shape. Where does this Enneagram come from and what is it used for?
It goes all the way back to the days of the Desert Fathers, so thousands of years ago, but it's only more recently with the likes of Gurdjieff and Claudio Naranjo and Oscar Ichazo that it was actually brought to the West, so to speak, in North America, and had actual personality types ascribed to it. Mm-hmm. Before then, it was really just a sacred symbol.
Right. So it has 9 personality types.
There are 9 basic personality types, and then there are also various, I call them subtypes, which means that you end up with numerous possibilities. Because, say, type 9, or not all type 9s are going to appear exactly the same, but their basic fundamental wounding and fears will be the same.
You introduced the Enneagrams to my team a couple of years back when you did a workshop, and this notebook is from that workshop, and that helped to identify why people acted the way that they did, and practically it helped me in when I would interview somebody and I need some personality type for a specific job. Discovering the Enneagram and what personality type they are made my life easier in deciding whether or not they'd be a fit, not just in the team, but also for the work that they're supposed to do.
Yes, it's very useful for that, and I think the majority of the current use is to do with personalities. But one has to remember that the actual intention of the Enneagrams was never to define personalities as such. It was to give us insight into ourselves so that we could work towards healing our wounds, if you like, and find our way back to integration or wholeness or health.
Okay, well, we need to know more about healing our wounds.
Well, for instance, if you were to take, because the Enneagram works a lot on paradox. So if you were to take the type 8, the challenger, some people call it the boss, they have to be in charge, and they have a lot of energy and charisma, and they walk into a room and they own that room. Mm-hmm. So if they are unhealthy or less integrated, they can become the bullies of the world. You can easily understand that.
Not all bosses are 8s, though.
Not all bosses are 8s. It's just a term because 8s like to be in charge. Mm-hmm. But as they become healthier, what they understand is that behind that external machismo, and I'm using this for women as well, is actually like a child, almost like a child protecting itself.
Right.
And they learn then to walk the road, because if their symbol is power, they move towards a 2, and 2's symbol would be love. So they understand that there is no true power without love, and there's no true love without power, and that would be their road to healing.
But they're not born like that necessarily. This could be an acquired nature.
No.
And they're born like that.
Everyone is born their number. We don't know how, we don't know why. What does affect the sort of family we're born into is the emotional health of that family, and that affects the levels of health that we have. So if you are fortunate enough to be born into a very happy family and you don't have too many problems, chances are you will be healthier. It's not definite, but chances are you will be more integrated.
So the challenger, for example, could have that unhealthy aspect to its personality emphasized if it was a child that was maybe with a single parent, a mother figure, and that child had to stand up and protect the family and assume that responsibility from a very, very young age.
An 8 child's typical experience would be an environment where it was eat or be eaten, survival of the fittest. And they've often felt that they had to protect younger siblings, either because the parents had they were addicts of some kind, or a single parent who was just working terribly hard. But at some point that child thought that he could not be vulnerable, because to be vulnerable means that you get hurt. So I have to be tough and I have to be strong. So that would be their experience in life.
And as an adult, they're probably really protective over not only their family, especially their family, I would imagine the Italian mafia type, but also their team.
They would see life as you're either for me or you're against me.
Right.
When they disintegrated, yes, mafia, sorry, they depersonalize people. People become objects.
Right.
When they're unhealthy. When they're healthy, then yes, they would be very protective.
So you've just used a term which I think needs expanding on.
Yes.
The integrated personality type and the disintegrated personality type.
Yes, that goes across all. It's basically when we're emotionally healthy, or when we're acting from a reactive point of view, as opposed to our higher sense of self.
We're going to go through all the different personality types just now, but just to add is there are not only 9 personality types, there are 9 with an 8 wing or 9 with a 1 wing. So just to go back one step, when you're talking about the personality type, you're talking about they are either healthy or they're unhealthy, and then you can explain what it means when they are healthy, integrated, and when they are disintegrated, and possibly where you can get kind of an evilness come out of someone.
Okay, I think the healthy part is when they have worked through their fixation. So with an 8, it would be lust. I need everything now. I've got to have what I want, It's that, and so it's as we learn to let go of our personalities, really, and operate from a higher sense of self, that we become healthier. And it's when we become more and more fixated into our wounding that we become unhealthy.
And learning about the Enneagram is learning about yourself and where you're at.
Absolutely, which makes it a very humbling process, because most of us like to think that we're incredibly integrated and wonderfully healthy, and we are truly great. So the reality dawns when you start seeing your behavior and you realize, hold it here, I'm doing that, and that's not a wildly healthy, because we become like type 1 would become fixated that they're doing the right thing, is the right thing, and therefore makes them a little more superior to everyone else, when in fact it's become a fixation. And the difference is when you move towards integration, it's normally a conscious choice, because sometimes it's so nice to slip back into that disintegrated state. So if you're 2, just blame everyone. It's so nice to blame everyone. So to move beyond that and to say, you know what, I'm actually going to accept responsibility here. I'm going to stop blaming the world for everything that's happened to me, is an enormous growth in personality.
Right.
But we don't necessarily always enjoy the process.
Correct. It can be very humbling, especially in an office setting when, the whole team is sitting there and they start recognizing, this one's an 8, that one's a 4. And you have to actually own all traits of that personality type.
Indeed, but I think the idea is not to say, ha-ha, and do that kind. The idea is to have compassion for the way that person sees life.
But the aha might be, that's why you do what you do.
Absolutely.
I'm talking endearing.
Yeah, no,
not necessarily like.
But I think it is, because when I think all of us tend to think everyone should behave the way we do, because obviously we are so amazing, and then when people don't behave that way, we start making them wrong.
Yes.
And I think that it's what the Enneagram's done for me is it's allowed me to see there are 9 different ways of dealing with life, and all of them are valid. And so there's no one number that sits higher than any of the other numbers.
I'd love you to talk about the lemon example that you've used in our course.
Okay, that was
explaining all the different personality types.
You can take the Enneagram across into, dogs have Enneagram numbers, people have Enneagram numbers, presidents have Enneagram numbers. So, what I play with it sometimes, and that saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So I took it through the Enneagrams, and so personally, a type 1 would say, right, what's the best way, what's the right way to make lemonade? We don't use too many lemons, and we ease up on the sugar, because that's not a good ethically thing to do, to eat a lot of sugar. That would be the 1. A 2 would say, hey, let's just make loads of lemonade and give it to all the poor, thirsty kids in the world. A 3 would say, wow, we got a marketing opportunity here. We add a bit of extra vitamin C, put it in a nice package. Hey, we got a super boost drink here, it'll fly. Okay. A 4 would say, you know, I wonder whether lemons suffer when they get pecked off the trees. And I feel like that lemon just plucked from life, you know. And a 5 would say, I think we should research this so we can find out the chemical properties of this, you know, and it'll take me a while, but I'll get back to you. A 6 would say, should I make lemonade, or maybe I should make lemon curd, lemon meringue pie. Let me just phone my friend and see what they think we should make. A 7 would say, yeehaw, I got some lemonade, let's add some vodka, we'll do some shots here, we'll create a new cocktail, and we'll party. And an 8 will say, get one of the staff to make some lemonade, please.
Right.
And a 9 would say, yeah, I'd like to make lemonade, but could be a bit of an effort. Well, let's just get some water and throw a slice of lemon in it.
Okay. So that's a beautiful summary of an Enneagram. And you've written a book about the Enneagrams. So I'd love to have you back in another episode, and we can get into this a bit more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anne.
Okay.